Krishna devotees, thank you for coming to ISKCON Columbus Sunday Feast. It's my honor and privilege to introduce this is Tirtha Prabhu. Tirtha Prabhu needs no introduction. Most of you know here. Prabhu in this congregation from past 20 years and is practicing Bhakti Yoga. And Prabhu and Mata along with his daughter.
No pressure.
Along with his daughter Kriti also, serve the community as well. Prabhu and if those of you come on Gaura Purnima, you can see all these decorations. Prabhu and Mataji, they are all doing this, and yes, they are serving the devotees and they are doing so many preaching programs as well in Columbus. And we'd like to invite Ramdita Prabhu to give the class on Ramayana pastimes. So let's give a big Hari Bol and invite Ramdita Prabhu to the Prabhu. Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
Okay, so today's topic is the most beautiful section of Ramayana, and it is part 1 only today. Because it's a huge subject which cannot be.
Sundarakanda.
We will see what that is. So, typically we sing the Jayarada Madhava, but because we are going to discuss Lord Ram's pastimes today, we will sing something in glorification of Lord Ram. So the prayer is on the screen. I think you all can see.
Yeah.
Madan Mohan Mataji is very excited. Sing this song, I can see that.
Gujarati right from or is it I people Gujarati is very famous.
Yeah,
Sing
this
all
is.
the time.
Yeah, there is a distorted version of Raghupati Raghava that is very popular, but this is the original version of Raghupati Raghava.
Oh.
So that's what it is. Please repeat after me. With a prayerful mood to Lord Ramchandra. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram Raghupati Raghava Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Ram Sundara Vigraha Meghashyam Ganga Tulasi Shaligram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Bhadragirishwara Sitaram Bhaktajana Priya Sitaram Bhadragirishwara Sitaram Bhaktajana Priya Sitaram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Janaki Ramana Sita Ram Jaya Jaya Raghava Sita Ram Janaki Ramana Sita Ram जय जय राघव सीताराम राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम I wish it continues. But anyway, in the interest of time, so we need to move on to other prayers that we have on Lord Ramchandra. This is a very, very beautiful prayer. I really like this prayer. So it is very heart touching. We will offer some Mangalacharan prayers and also prayers to Lord Ramchandra. Prabhu, next slide. Please repeat after me. Lokabhiramam Ranarangadhiram Rajivanetram Raghuvamsanadam Karunyarupam Karunakarantam Sri Ramachandram Sirasa Saranam Prapadye. I take refuge in the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra, who is pleasing to the people, who is calm and composed in the battlefield, whose eyes are like blue lotuses, and who is the Lord of the Raghu dynasty, who is an embodiment of compassion and shower his compassion to all. There's another prayer. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Salutations to Rama, who is also known as Ramabhadra and Ramachandra, who is mentioned in Vedas as the greatest lord of Raghuvamsha and the whole world, and who is the consort of Sita. And there are a couple more prayers that we would like to say today, because the topic today is the most beautiful section of Ramayana. So I'm sure you all heard about Ramayana many times growing up, coming from Indian background, most of you. So can you guess what that section is? What is the most beautiful section of Ramayana? Is there anything in Ramayana which is not beautiful? So everyone knows that, Sundarakanda. When we talk about most beautiful section of Ramayana, everybody is thinking it is Sundarakanda, right? But what is not beautiful in Ramayana? Is there any section of Ramayana which is not beautiful?
You said most beautiful.
There you go. And who is the hero of that section of Ramayana? What is the one character which is very, very prominent in that particular section?
Hanuman.
That is Hanuman. So let's offer our prayers to the dearmost servant of Lord Ramachandra for his blessings. We need to seek his blessings before we speak about this topic. So we'll offer a couple of prayers to Lord Hanuman. Anjana Nandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapi Samaksha Hantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram Manojavam Marutatalya Vigam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanara Yuddha Mukyam Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami. Anjaneya, the delight of his mother Anjana Devi, Anjana Nandanam, and the destroyer of the demon, King Ravana's son Aksha, dispeller of the grief of the daughter of King Janaka, I salute that heroic monkey leader Hanuman, the source of terror of Lanka. I bow my head and salute the emissary of Rama, who has won over his mind, who has similar speed as wind, who has mastery over his organs, who is the greatest among knowledgeable, who is the son of God of wind, and who is the chief in the army of monkeys. Lord Hanuman ki jai. So let's keep the slide there only. Don't go to the next one right now. Let's keep it for the presentation. Okay, so welcome all of you. Thank you all so much for coming to ISKCON Sunday Feast program. So we are going to discuss about some pastimes from Ramayana. It is mentioned that in Brahma Samhita, especially Brahma Samhita 5.39, it says Ramadi Murti Sukala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavatara Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Sambhavat Paramah Pumanyo Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Right? So I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personality as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Narsimha, Vamana, etc. as his subjective portions. So we all know that Lord Rama is one of the prominent chief incarnations of Lord Krishna, right? And when Lord Ramchandra appeared in Tirtha Yuga, he enacted beautiful, beautiful pastimes, extremely, very, very beautiful, heart-touching, heart-rendering pastimes Lord Rama performed. And he performed Naralila. He came as a normal human being, right? So that way we all can relate in our day-to-day life. The Ramayana pastimes are not just specific or applicable only to Treta Yuga or only certain Yuga. There are so many lessons that one can learn from Ramayana, and we can apply that time to come. Generations and generations, we can apply the same wisdom in our life. Those are the teachings of Lord Rama and Ramayana. And there are so many emotions, so many loving exchanges, the relationship lessons we can learn from Ramayana, right? And Ramchandra he came in Raghu dynasty. That's the reason he is known as Raghunatha Vamsa, Raghu Vamsanada, or Raghupati. That's why he is known as Raghupati also. He comes in Raghu dynasty. And Ramayana talks about the journey of Lord Rama. And also, it is basically like Srimad Bhagavatam is literary incarnation of Krishna. Similarly, Ramayana is literary incarnation of Lord Ram. So if you are reading Ramayana, you are directly associating with Lord Ram. So that's what it is. And Ramayana is composed by which sage? Valmiki Muni. Valmiki Muni composed Ramayana. And how many verses are there in Ramayana? 22,000? 24,000 verses. There are 24,000 verses in Ramayana. Just to give you some context, how many verses are there in Bhagavad Gita? 700. How many chapters are there? 19th chapter, no addition. The latest edition has 19 chapters. There are 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita and 700 verses. And Srimad Bhagavatam? 18,000 verses. And how many cantos are there? 12 cantos, right? So in Ramayana, we don't say cantos, we don't say khandas. The same term is called khanda. The skandhas are called cantos in Srimad Bhagavatam, but in Ramayana they are called khanda. So how many khandas are there in Ramayana? There are 6 or 7? 7? Some people say 7, some people say 6. What is right? Do you know how many khandas are there? How many sections are there in Srimad Ramayana?
Let's start. Let's start.
Okay, so when Valmiki composed Ramayana, he composed only 6 khandas. Okay? There are only 6 khandas according to Valmiki Ramayana. But later on in the later editions of Ramayana, the 7th khanda was also added. That is called Uttarakanda. Okay? So the first 6 khandas that are written by, compiled by Valmiki Muni are, what are the 6 khandas? So Balakanda, Ayodhya Kanda, Aranya Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Sundara Kanda, Yuddha Kanda, and the last one is Uttarakanda. So if you look at Ramayana, in Balakanda basically discusses about the appearance of Lord Ramchandra. Basically, Dasharatha Maharaj was ruling the kingdom for 60,000 years, but he did not have any kids, no children. So he performs a yajna by which he gets some nectar, and that is distributed among his 3 queens, chief queens. And then finally, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrugna, they appear, right? And then the childhood pastimes of these 4 personalities were explained, described in Balakanda. And also eventually Vishwamitra Muni comes and he wanted to take Lord Ram to the forest. Then Dasharatha Maharaj did not want to send Lord Ram to forest because he was very, very young, tender age. How can I send my young son to the forest? I can come by myself. I can send entire my army. But how can I send my Lord Ram? But then Vasishtha Muni, who is the family priest, he gives assurance to Dasharatha Maharaj, saying that you do not have to worry about this. He is going with Vishwamitra himself, so there is nothing to be concerned. So he is going to get a lot of blessings by this process. So please send, rest assured. That's when Dasharatha Maharaj sends Lord Ram, and then Lakshman naturally goes with Lord Ramchandra, accompanies Lord Ramchandra. So they go to the forest and they get a lot of celestial weapons and a lot of blessings from other people. So they do all that and they come back. And then during the process, they also meet Sita, Mother Sita. And then Lord Ramchandra marries Sita. That marriage happens. All these things up to wedding of Sita is in Balakanda section of Ramayana. So then what is next? After the wedding of Sita, then what is next? Then Dasharatha Maharaj wanted to coronate Lord Ram as Prince Regent. So then one night he decides to do this, and immediately he goes and makes his announcement. He was very, very excited to do this, and because entire Praja of Ayodhya, they were very excited when they hear this news that Dasharatha Maharaj wanted to make Lord Ramchandra as Prince Regent. Everybody appreciates so much. Everybody says Jai Ho, all glories. So, but then the twist. So when he goes to Kaikeyi says that Kaikeyi had a very beautiful, wonderful assistant called Mandara. She was not only cooking, she was not only helping in cook the food, but she was cooking something in her mind also. So she cooked a lot of things in her, in Kaikeyi's mind. Then Kaikeyi asks for 3 boons at the time, that Lord Ramchandra should be banished to, he should be sent to forest for 14 years. So that episode happens, Lord Ram, Lakshman accompanies Lord Ram, and also Sita Devi also goes to forest along with Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman. So at the time, they were supposed to leave all their possessions because they were going to forest. They were not supposed to carry anything. So they left everything. Lord Ram and Lakshman, they were just wearing the tree barks, very minimal clothes to go to the forest. At the time, Kaikeyi insists that even Sita should wear those kinds of things. He should not carry anything, right? But then Dasharatha Maharaj gets extremely angry and upset by the proposal, and he says that no, that's not going to happen. Sita can still go with her sari, nice sari, silk sari, whatever she was wearing, and she had some jewelry. She can still carry those jewelry. So Lord Ram and Lakshman, they went with in their normal, very simple clothes, but Sita still had some ornaments on her, some jewelry on her. So you will know why she wore, what is the purpose of this jewelry in the future section of Ramayana. But she was still wearing some jewelry and then some nice sari while she went to forest. Right. So if you look at this particular section, this is called Ayodhya Kanda, right? So and then there are so many mixed emotions during in this Ayodhya Kanda. There is a wedding of Mother Sita and Ram just happened in end of the Balakanda. And also, the plot of Mandara, sending Lord Ram to forest. And there is a Karuna Rasa, there is Bhakti Rasa, the Bhakti of Lakshman, Bhakti of the Bharat Maharaj. So there are multiple rasas that can be seen in Ayodhya Kanda also, right? So finally, the entire section of Ayodhya Kanda is about Ayodhya, what happened in Ayodhya. The entire Kanda, the Balakanda, is about the childhood pastimes of Lord Ram. As the name suggests, Balakanda means about the childhood pastimes of Lord Ram. Ayodhya Kanda means because this happened, this entire pastime, all these pastimes happened in Ayodhya, that's why it is called Ayodhya Kanda, right? So you are with me so far? Valmiki named this Kanda as Ayodhya Kanda. And then the next Kanda, next section of Ramayana is called Aranya Kanda. It's not Aranya, it's called Aranya Kanda because it happened in Aranya, or it happened in forest, because Lord Ram, Lakshman and Sita, they goes to forest, right? They spend almost like 13 to 14 years in the forest, and probably this was one of the beautiful pastimes, beautiful time. Sita and Lord Ram had very, very intimate togetherness, intimate pastimes in in this section, actually in Aranyakanda, because they were together, and Lord Lakshman was assisting Lord Ramchandra and Sita Devi, and it's a beautiful forest, Chitrakoot, and so many beautiful flowers, trees, very nice landscape. They were having very, very nice time, right? So the beauty is there in this particular section also. But then what happens? Sita gets abducted by Ravana in this particular section in Aranyakanda, right? And then when Sita was abducted by Ravana, then there is one great devotee of Lord Ram, Jatayu, a vulture who tries to fight Ravana. Right? After all, Jatayu was not very, very powerful compared to Ravana. But still, Jatayu puts all his efforts, mighty efforts, knowing that he's not going to be successful, knowing all that, but still Jatayu wanted to give a fight with Ravana. So that is the mood of a devotee. So the success and failure does not depend on external situations, whether the external results are there or not. Lord doesn't look at it. He looks at the endeavor that we make. That is one lesson we can learn from Jatayu. Sometimes we are attached to the fruits of the work, what we do. Okay, I have performed so much service, I have done this, but the result is not as expected. Externally, it may appear as a failure, but from Lord's perspective, whether it is a small effort or a big effort, some people consider that, maybe doing a deity decoration or going on to the altar is something special. So you are a Brahmin, you are doing something big. Maybe somebody is doing dishes in the kitchen, or somebody is washing the floor. In Lord's eyes, everything is same. It does not really matter, right? The mood in which we serve, that's what is in the spiritual realm. The endeavor itself defines the success, not the end result. So if you put your heart into your effort, that itself is success. That's what Krishna sees in his eyes. That's what we should focus when we are serving the Lord. Put our heart into it. Don't think about anything else. Success or failure, just leave it up to Krishna, what he wants. We should do our service. A lot of times we say that, I have been distributing so many books, I have done so much preaching, I'm trying to encourage so many devotees, my family, but they have not taken, devotional service. So am I a failure? Is something wrong with me? No, nothing like that. You are doing your job. It's like once, you say that it's like placing a time bomb. You take a time bomb, you go and put the time bomb in somebody's house. That's all your job is. So whether it is a book distribution or whether we are preaching to somebody, our job, our responsibility, our duty is to take this time bomb and keep it in their house or in their pocket. When it is going to be triggered, let's leave it to Krishna. Krishna knows exactly when to trigger it, when that person will take it. We don't have that control, but at least we can try from our side. We have to do our duty, right? So Jatayu did the same thing. He fought with his all might, right? Knowing that he's going to be killed, he cannot survive, but still he tried. And then finally Ravana chopped Jatayu's wings, and then Jatayu collapsed there, and eventually Jatayu died. So during the time when Ravana was kidnapping Sita, so Sita, what she did, she tore a piece of her cloth, sari. Then whatever the jewelry she had, she tied that into the piece of the sari, and then she dropped from the aeroplane, Pushpak Viman. Okay, so we will see where this will be used in the future. But that's what happens during this Aranyakanda. So even in Aranyakanda, you can see Virya Rasa. Virya Rasa means, Shurpanaka comes, Karan Dushan come. There are 14,000 warriors from Ravana's army. They come, and Lord Ram, with single-handedly, he kills all of them. Single-handedly, he defeats all of them. And all these things happen. There is a lot of beauty. There is a lot of loving exchanges between Lord Ram and Sita, and also there is a Virya Rasa. There is a fighting. There is a Bibhasa that Ravana taking Sita. So there are so many rasas even in Aranyakanda. Okay. So then after that, what happens? Lord Ram is in extreme anxiety and extreme sorrow. It's painful situation because Sita is being abducted. So now Lord Ram and Lakshman, they are in search of Sita. So they are wandering in the forest, they are going, they are walking, wherever they see, wherever Lord Ram sees any tree, he was able to see only Sita. He was telling Sita, Sita, Sita. He was completely thinking about Mother Sita. So during this process, what happened? He meets Hanuman and then eventually Sugriva, right? And this particular section of Ramayana, this entire thing happened in a place called Kishkinda, okay? And that's why this particular section is called Kishkinda, because most of this pastime happened in the area of Kishkinda, right? So we saw Balakanda, then we saw Ayodhya Kanda because it happened in Ayodhya, then we saw Aranya Kanda because it happened in Aranya, which is a forest, and then the next section is Kishkinda Kanda because it happened in Kishkinda, right? That's why Valmiki named it as Kishkinda. So in this particular Kanda, what happens? Then Sugriva meets Lord Ram and Lakshman. Then they make a pact saying that, my wife has been taken by Vali, the kingdom has been taken by Vali, he kicked me out. So you help me get my kingdom and my wife, then I will also help you. That's what the agreement between Lord Ram and Sugriva. Eventually, then Vali and Sugriva, there is a fight, between them. And then we all know that Vali has a boon that whoever comes in front of him, he gets half of his power or the strength. So Sugriva could not do anything with Vali, right? That's why Sugriva was wandering. He was not even there in Kishkinda because he was scared of Vali. Because Vali said, if you enter into this kingdom, I will kill you. So that's why Sugriva, along with his own people, like Hanuman and few other people, Vanaras, they were not in Kishkinda, they were wandering. So they wanted to get back the kingdom. Sugriva wanted to get back the kingdom. So Lord Ram helps in this endeavor, right? So Lord Ram shoots an arrow from behind the tree and he kills Vali, and eventually the kingdom is given to Sugriva. Okay, so now, and then Vali's son, who is Vali's son? Angada. Angada is a very, very powerful warrior. Angada is extremely powerful warrior, Vanara warrior in Vanara dynasty, right? So Angada, and then Sugriva becomes king of the Kishkinda. Now, according to the pact, according to the agreement, Sugriva is supposed to help Lord Ram find Sita, right? So then all these things happened in Kishkinda Kanda. So at the end of the Kishkinda Kanda, what happens? Sugriva, according to the agreement, he makes his entire Vanara groups into 4 groups. He sends each group in each direction. One group of Vanaras go to north, one group goes to east, one group goes to west, and one group goes to south. And when Sugriva sent these 4 groups to different directions, he gives clear instructions also. In each direction, what are you going to see? What are the things you will find when you are searching for Sita? Because they had absolutely no clue where Sita is, in which direction Sita went, or who took, where they took, they had no clue. But they wanted to search across India in all different directions, right? Different directions Vanaras went. So the Vanara group which went south, that is led by Angada. So Angada was leading that group, and that in that group Angada was there, Jambavan was there. Jambavan was another very, very powerful Vanara, extremely powerful Vanara. Jambavan was there. And then Nala, Neela, so Hanuman, so all these personalities went south searching for Sita. So now, Sugriva gave some time for these Vanaras, right? So you should go and search for Sita, and you have to come back by so and so date, so and so time if you come back. If you do not come back with good news by so and so date, you will be severely punished, you will be killed. That's what Sugriva says. You have to find. But this is the time I am giving you. You have to come back with this news. So now the term is almost ending. It's towards the term that, the time frame that was given by Sugriva. So all these Vanaras who went south, so led by Angada, they were all lamenting. They were all thinking. They were completely stressed out. Just imagine. So now their boss gave a task. And it's not that, they love their boss. That's the problem, right? If they don't love the boss, that's a different story. But they love the boss. And they're doing this for Lord Ramchandra. And they understand who is Lord Ram and what is Lord Ram's personality, the character, where he is coming from. They understand everything of Lord Ram. So they really wanted to do this job with their heart. But almost the term is ending, but they could not find Sita. They are not able to find any traces. They don't know what is going to happen. Now they are completely distressed, completely morose. They are crying, and they are in a cave, and they are all discussing that, now the term is almost over. If we go back to Sugriva, he is going to kill us. He is not going to forgive us. He is going to be upset and he is going to punish us. So we cannot go back to Sugriva. We know what is going to happen if you go to Sugriva. But we don't know where to go. When we don't even know, we don't have any clues how to find Sita. So I think the best thing is to die. We can't go back, we can't find Sita, then what should we do? it is better not to show our face to Sugriv. Let's stay here and just fast until death. They don't want to die, but they don't find any means to find Sita. Then they all decide to just okay, now this is it. So now in this cave we will die. Then as they are resting, they are sitting and they are crying and they are discussing the entire pastime of Lord Ram. They are discussing how Lord Ram is so great and how Dasharatha is great, how Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna, they appeared in this world, how they came to the forest, and then how Ravana or somebody abducted Sita. They were discussing all these things, right? At the time, there was another vulture, another bird. This bird hears all this conversation from the cave, outside of the cave. Some Vanaras are talking this. Then when this bird, known as Sampati, then Sampati hears about this entire pastime, these Vanaras are discussing, immediately Sampati starts speaking to these Vanaras. And Sampati is a vulture, but Sampati could not fly because her wings were burnt. It was not chopped by somebody. When Sampati and Jatayu were young, they used to fly very, very high. Both Jatayu and Sampati were very, very powerful vultures, very powerful. They used to fly very, very high, right? And they were flying so high that they were approaching sun god, very close to sun. So to protect Jatayu from the burning heat, so Sampati spreads her wings, his wings, to protect Jatayu. During that process, Sampati's wings get burned. So that's why the Sampati could not fly. So he was on the ground. Sampati was on the ground. But hearing the pastimes of this Lord Ram, whatever happened in the forest with Lord Ram, Sampati immediately tells, don't be morose. I know where this personality is. This is in Lanka. If you go in the south direction, there is a place called Lanka. I can clearly see where Sita is. She is in that place. So if you go in the south direction, you will definitely find Mother Sita. That gives so much hope for all these Vanaras. So immediately they go towards the ocean. So that's where Kishkinda Kanda ends. So now this entire pastime happened in area of Kishkinda predominantly. So the next section. So let's hold on to the, just wait on the next section, right? What happens there? Okay. So then the subsequent section that happens, Hanuman enters into Lanka. He finds Sita. Then he comes back to Lord Ram and he gives the news to Lord Ram that, I found Sita. I passed the message to Sita. And then what happens after that? There is a fight. There is a war between Ram and Ravana. So then Ravana gets killed and then Vibhishana is given power of Lanka. And then this entire section which deals with the war between Ram and Ravana is called Yuddha Kanda because it's predominantly Yuddha, fight, right? So after that, the one more section which is added later in Ramayana, in Valmiki Ramayana, only these 6 sections are mentioned, that's it. But then later on, 7th Kanda was added, section was added, which is known as Uttarakanda. So Uttarakanda is, what is mentioned in Uttarakanda? Basically, Lord Ram, Sita, Lakshman, they all come back to Ayodhya. Then Lord Ram's Pattabhisheka happens. Then Lord Ram's rule the kingdom for some time. Uttarakanda, I did not find it. So I searched actually, I searched who compiled or when it was added. I could not find that when it was added, who really added, I could not find it. So maybe if somebody finds it, just let me know. I'll document it for my own reference later, but I could not find it. So yeah, then because of comments made by a washerman, Sita was sent back to forest and Sita was with, Valmiki, then Lava and Kush were born. And then Valmiki composes this Ramayana. He teaches entire Ramayana to Lava and Kush. Lava and Kush go to entire each and every city and village and they start spreading the glories of Lord Ram. All these things are discussed or mentioned in Uttarakanda. So now there is one Kanda. So if you look at all the names of the Kandas, it's basically because the location where it happened or mainly because what happened in that section. That's how Valmiki named each section of Ramayana like that. So now from Kishkinda and Hanuman going to Lanka, that section is named Sundarakanda. So why did Valmiki name this particular section Sundarakanda? He could have named it Lanka Kanda because Hanuman was flying to Lanka, or Hanuman Kanda because Hanuman was the main personality that is happening. Then why Valmiki named this section Sundarakanda? What is so special about it? Anyone thought about this? Anyone thought about it? Why is it called Sundarakanda? What is so special about Sundarakanda? Okay, so let's see. There is one commentator called Tilaka. So he commented on this particular section why it is called Sundarakanda. So go to the next slide. This was very exciting for me too when I was thinking. I was also thinking, why is this called Sundarakanda? So then I found this by Vaishnava Acharya. So Tilaka, oh yeah, this is the one. Okay. Tilaka's commentary states that Sundare Sundaro Rama, Sundare Sundari Katha, Sundare Sundari Sita, Sundare Sundaram Vanam, Sundare Sundaram Kavyam, Sundare Sundara Kapi, Sundare Sundaram Mantram, Sundare Kinna Sundaram. So what this particular, is called Tilaka commentary says that the person who is sending the message to Sita, who was trying to send a message to Sita, that was Lord Ram. Lord Ram is Sundara, is extremely beautiful. It is mentioned that Lord Ram was so handsome, so beautiful, even men used to fall in love with him. When he was going in the forest, they wanted to marry him. That was the beauty of Lord Ram. Extremely, extremely beautiful. After all, Lord Ramchandra is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, he has to be attractive, all attractive, and he's extremely beautiful. So, Sundare Sundaro Rama. The person who is sending message is beautiful. That is Lord Rama. The person who is receiving the message, who is receiving the message, who is supposed to receive the message, that is Mother Sita. Mother Sita is none other than the supreme consort of Lord Ram, eternal consort of Lord Ram. She is an expansion of Radharani. So she is extremely beautiful. She is Hladini Shakti of Lord Ram, right? She is extremely beautiful. Sundare Sundari Sita. So that is Sita. And the message, okay, who is carrying this message? Hanuman. So the person or the messenger who is carrying the message, he is also extremely beautiful. When you see externally, we always think about the beauty from external perspective. When we look at certain things externally and we say the person is beautiful. But the real beauty has to be estimated by the internal qualities of a person. Based on internal qualities, we have to say a person is beautiful or not, right? Even it was mentioned that even Ravana was extremely handsome, but nobody glorifies his beauty. And he's not known for his beauty, but he's known for something else, right? So the beauty is known by the character of the individual. So if you look at the Sundarakanda, the pastime, at the end of the Sundarakanda, we will really understand how beautiful Hanuman is. Even though Hanuman, externally he's a Vanara, but how beautiful Hanuman was, we will see that today, right? Hanuman was beautiful. The message that was sent to Sita by Lord Ram, that message is also beautiful. So what is the message Lord Ram was conveying to Sita? Sita, you do not worry, I will come and I will pick you up, I will take you. That's a very, very beautiful, very ensuring message for Sita, right? The very assuring message, hope-giving message for Sita. So the message itself is beautiful, right? And then, so we talked about Sundare Sundara Kapi. Kapi is the monkey, basically Vanara. He is beautiful. The person who is sending the message is beautiful. The person who is receiving the message is beautiful, right? The message itself is beautiful. And then where is Sita? Where was Sita? She was in Lanka. And Lanka was extremely beautiful. It's a very, very beautiful city. It was mentioned that this city was built. Lanka was built by, what is his name? Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma built this city. And the city is completely made with gold. In Valmiki Ramayana, it was described the entire sea water around Lanka was completely golden complexion. Even the water, because of the reflection of the Lanka, the entire to certain area, even the waters were looking like gold. And it was like when Hanuman reaches Lanka, right? When reaches Lanka, it's an island, as we all know. Lanka is an island. In that island, first he goes onto one mountain. Okay, first he goes onto the mountain, and it's called Lamba Parvat. So from the top of the Lamba Parvat, he wanted to see the Lanka city. It's an island. In that island, Lanka is a city. There are so many other things, but Lanka is a city. So he went on to top of a mountain and he was looking at this Lanka city. And it was described by Valmiki that this Lanka city, it's not on the earth. It doesn't appear that it's on the earth. It is floating in the sky. That was a beauty. And it did not need any lighting. No electricity was needed because it had so much jewelry, so many jewels embedded in all the walls of Lanka, completely made with gold. That itself is enough. There was no need of light. And so many beautiful gardens, a lot of flowers, lot of fruits. It's completely lush greenery in and around Lanka city. And the Lanka was built in such a way that not even a mosquito can enter into Lanka without permission. Not even a mosquito. In fact, it's mentioned that not even air from outside cannot enter into Lanka without permission. That much security was built in Lanka. And Lanka is extremely beautiful. So that is Sundare Sundaram Vanam. So Vanam is basically the forest or the area where Sita was there. And also it is Lanka. So that's also beautiful. And this entire Sundarakanda, the way Valmiki composed, the Kavyam itself is very beautiful. The verses are very beautiful. So then the Tilaka says at the end, Sundare Kinna Sundaram. So what is not Sundara in Sundarakanda? If you look at every aspect of Sundarakanda, everything is beautiful. There is nothing that is not beautiful in Sundarakanda. That's what Tilaka says. Right? And Sundare Sundaram Mantram. Even the mantras, if you recite Sundarakanda sincerely, with sincere heart, with the mood of worship to Lord Ram and Hanuman, there are so many benefits that are mentioned. Right? Even the health benefits, there are so many diseases, so many things that will be eliminated. Your mind will become clear. There are so many benefits that are mentioned in by reciting Sundarakanda. In India, there is a culture that people recite Sundarakanda Parayanam. Every 1 month, every day they recite Sundarakanda Parayanam in some season. So people do that, right? But the mood is that the point is that Sundarakanda is beautiful in every aspect. So that's what Tilaka says, right? And also, it is beautiful because there is a Vedanta involved in Sundarakanda also. It's not Ramayana is not just Ithasa, it's not just a story to be just heard and released, but also there is a Vedanta in Sundarakanda. In this entire section of Sundarakanda, there is also Vedanta. So there is a Vaishnava Acharya, his name is Vedanta Desika. So Vedanta Desika mentions what is the Vedanta in Sundarakanda. Okay. So that Vedanta is that, so Vedanta talks about basically the Jivatma, the individual soul, and Paramatma, the super soul. And what is the nature of Paramatma? What is the nature of Jivatma, individual living entity? And also, what is the real nature of Jivatma? That is to serve Paramatma. And right? And then this Jivatma, because of some conditioning, we are in this conditioned world. Then what happens? How the Jivatma, the Atma, gets attracted to this material world and then enters into this material world. All these things is Vedanta, basically. That's what Vedanta teaches. So now how Vedanta is embedded in Sundarakanda. How Vedanta is embedded in Sundarakanda. So since Acharya compares Lord Ram to Paramatma. Of course, Lord Ram is Paramatma. He is Paramatma. So, but for the analogy perspective here also, he says that Lord Ram represents Paramatma or the super soul. And Sita represents Jiva. Okay, Sita represents Jiva. Of course, Sita is eternal concept of Lord Ram. For the analogy perspective, from Vedanta perspective, to understand this, Sita is compared to Jiva, like all of us, right? And we have 10 senses, 5 karmendriyas and 5 jnanendriyas. So what are the jnanendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas? Jnanendriyas are the ones that give knowledge, by which we acquire knowledge. Right? So these are called knowledge acquiring senses. So we have knowledge acquiring senses, 5, and we have 5 karmendriyas, working senses. Okay. So it is not just that, for example, so we are making rasgulla or sweet, something, right? Rasgulla or jamun. So the smell, by the smell, I have the knowledge that, there is a rasgulla in the menu today or jamun in the menu today. I don't know if it is really there or not. I'm just saying. And don't come back and tell me that, Prabhu, you told that there is a jamun and there is no jamun, and don't get upset. I'm just an example. Right? So So then my Jnanendriya, which is giving me the knowledge, right? I have this knowledge of Jamun, that it is there. Because of that knowledge, I know that there is Jamun, but unless I go, I walk, I go, pick up and put it in my mouth, I cannot enjoy that. I cannot relish that item. So we have Jnanendriyas which will give knowledge to us, but then we have Karmendriyas to get that information or to do something. Right? So we have 5 Jnanendriyas and 5 Karmendriyas, totally 10. So these 10 Indriyas represent 10-headed Ravana. Okay, so now you know the Jiva. Sita represents Jiva, and then Ram represents Paramatma. Ayodhya represents Vaikunta. Ayodhya or India represents Vaikunta, right? And then this body that we are in, these Panchabhutas that we are in, right? We have air, water, ether, air, water, fire, earth. So these 5 Panchabhutas is this body that is compared to Lanka. Okay. So now this Jiva who is supposed to be pure, right? The nature of Jiva is to serve the Supreme Lord. If the Jiva gets attracted by some material things, they want to enjoy separately from the Lord, from Paramatma, then what happens? The Jiva is put into this Lanka. So Sita, even though of course she is eternal consort, she did not have any separate desire to enjoy separate from Lord Ram, but she was representing this. She wanted to have this golden deer. That's when all these things happened. She wanted to have a golden deer. Then Lord Ram says that, in my creation, I have never seen this creature. I am the creator, I have never seen this creature. But then Sita really wanted to have that. So then Lord Ram understands this. So he goes to get golden deer. Then what happens? Sita is abducted by Ravana. Ravana represents these 10 senses. So we have to keep our senses in control. If the senses are uncontrolled, our Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas not controlled, then we end up in this body called Lanka. We'll be succumbed by this Ravana. So that's what Vedanta says. That. So in that sense, Sundarakanda has some Vedanta also. Vedanta is described in Sundarakanda. So in this perspective, Sundarakanda is also, for that reason also, Sundarakanda is very, very beautiful. So there is one more reason why this is called Sundarakanda. So the main character of Sundarakanda is Hanuman. So if you know the background of Hanuman, right? Hanuman was born to who? Anjana Devi, right? Anjana Devi and Kesari. So when Hanuman was born to Anjana Devi and Kesari, he was known, Anjana Devi used to call Hanuman Sundara. Because, for mother, the kid is beautiful. Any kid for mother is very, very beautiful, right? When Hanuman was born to Anjana Devi, he was known as, she used to call him Sundara. That's the reason this is also called Sundarakanda, because he's main character in this particular Kanda, right? So now we all understand why this particular section is called Sundarakanda. Okay, so now let's go back to Sundarakanda. What happens in Sundarakanda? Okay, so far you are all with me, I guess. Okay, so now all the Vanaras led by Angada, Hanuman, Jambavan, Nala, Neela, like all these great Vanaras, warriors, they all at the shore of the ocean. So now they know that they have to cross this ocean to go to Lanka to find Sita. So now who will do this job? Who will do this job? And the distance between this shore to Lanka is about 100 yojanas. 100 yojanas means 800 miles. 1 yojana is 8 miles. So 100 yojanas is 800 miles. So now everybody is thinking, who will go? Who will do this task? One Vanara comes up and says that, I can jump only 10 yojanas. That's my capacity. I can't do more than that. So I can't do this task. Another Vanara comes and says that I can do 20 yojanas. Maximum I can do only 20 yojanas. Another Vanara comes and says I can do 50 yojanas. Right? Then finally Angada comes and says that I can do 100 yojanas. So which is Lanka. But he says I can go there, but I don't have capacity to come back. I can go there, but my capacity is only that much. I will not have energy to come back again. So then all the Vanaras also says that no, you can never go. You are our leader. Our duty is to protect our leader. So we do not want to send you. Even if you have capacity, we do not want to want you to go to Lanka because we don't want to cause any harm to you. So you have to stay with us. You are our leader. That's the mood of a servant. They want to protect their boss, their boss. So anyway, and Angada capacity is only 100 yards, 100 yojanas. So he could not do. Then Jambavan comes and says that I am extremely powerful. I have a lot of power. During Vamanadeva appearance, Vamanadeva appeared. He says, Jambavan says, I circumambulated Vamanadev 21 times. And not as a dwarf, by the way. When Vamanadev expanded, he put one foot on the sky and one foot here, right? So just imagine what is the size of Vamanadev. He covered entire universe with his body, Vamanadev, with his two legs. And Jambavan says that I had capacity to circumambulate around Vamanadev 21 times. That was the power, that was the energy of Jambavan. But Jambavan says that, I had that energy at the time, but now I don't have. I am very old, so I cannot do anything right now. So that is the discussion everybody was going through at that point, right? So one lesson, one thing that we can learn from this is that every person, in the service of the Lord have different capacities. Every person can do different types of services at the different levels, different capacities, right? So one has to understand what are their strengths, what they are good at, and try to engage in the service. There are so many services in the temple or any environment. So try to see where you will fit. You will always find some service, right? You don't have to compete with somebody that, that service is better, so I should go and do that service. It looks like there's more recognition there. More people will see that. No, we don't have to think about like that. So my capacity is only this. My nature is this. So based on your nature, based on your strengths, based on your intelligence, based on your family situation, some people have everything, all the ingredients, but their family may not be, very conducive to do the services. That's fine. So based on each and everyone's situation, take up some service and do that. Don't worry about picking up some big service or this service or that service. So try to engage in some way. So all these Vanaras are teaching something. They understand their limitations. I can only do this much, so I cannot do this. So that's what we have to see. We have to get humble and see what is our strength, where I can, put my energy into, how I can serve the Lord or the temple. So we have to think about that, right? So finally, Jambavan looks at Hanuman. Hanuman is very, very silent. He was not doing anything. He was just quiet. So then Jambavan says that there is one person who can do this job. And everybody is wondering, who is that? And then says it's Hanuman. Everybody is surprised. Hanuman is all along with us. We haven't really seen his powers, right? Because if you look at it, Hanuman was with Sugriva all along. Hanuman is more powerful than Vali. Why couldn't Hanuman help Sugriva? Right? Hanuman is very, very extremely powerful. When Vali kicked Sugriva out, Sugriva and Hanuman were friends. They were together. Jambavan was there too. Nala, Nila, everybody was there. They could have reminded Hanuman of his powers. Hanuman, you had so many powers, you can kick Vali out easily. But nobody reminded him also. Why? Right? But at this time, Jambavan says that Hanuman is the person who can do this job. Then they go and tell Hanuman, Hanuman, you are the one chosen for this. You can do this. Hanuman says, I don't know, I cannot do this. Then Jambavan reminds his entire appearance, his birth, and what kind of boons he had, and then why his powers, why his, all these things he forgot, right? All these things are forgotten. So he reminds him everything. When all these things are reminded to Hanuman, then he gets confidence. He gets confidence. So in our life also, we should have that person who can encourage us. Sometimes we don't know our capacity. Sometimes we don't know what we are. But then if you have somebody who can say that, Prabhu, we can really do that. We can elevate you. So we should have that encouragement. So Jambavan was that encouragement for Hanuman, who reminded him of his powers, his energy, what he can do. So then Hanuman immediately wanted to do this service for Lord Ram, right? So then this question, still the question remains, why Hanuman was not reminded by Jambavan and Sugriva of his powers? Why? I was thinking about the same question. They could have done that before. Why they did not do that? Anyone thought about it?
Time is not come.
Time. Yes, usually that's what we say in India. Why don't you take devotional service? Time has not come for me. Time has not come. Your time has come, you are engaged, but my time has not come. When it comes, I will. It's not about the time. because the boon, it was, I heard again, I learned this recently, that the boon that Hanuman got, or is a boon or curse, is that when somebody reminds you of service to the Lord, that's when he will get the power. It's not that anytime you go and remind him you have a power, he's going to get it. Only when there is a need for the service of the Lord, when you remind him of the powers, that's when Hanuman can get those powers. He will realize those powers, not just like that. So that is known. That's the reason Sugriva, Jambavan, even if they had reminded Hanuman, he wouldn't have realized those powers. So now it's a need of the Lord. He wanted to serve the Lord. Jambavan said, okay, now this is the time. Now you can get these powers because you are in the mission to serve Lord Ram. You can get this done. So then, with so much confidence.
That's a part two. Part one, even he could not recognize Ram. So
Which one? When they meet.
when he the first time,
Right.
Rama had a boon. I want to serve master. You will know when you see him,
Yeah.
and then your master will see you because he has a garland which no one sees that. That's a part one where you recognize the master.
Right.
Then this is the second step where he follows the master's instruction.
Yeah. I mean, definitely there are a lot of details. I did not go into the details of how they meet, what they do when they meet. So, because I wanted to really do in the part one, I wanted to enter into the Sundarakanda and then keep the beautiful suspense for later part. That's what I'm hoping to do. So now Hanuman grows big, huge, gigantic size. Immediately he grows, and and he's so huge, gigantic to cross this ocean. Now he needs some support to cross. Right? He needs some kind of support. He cannot simply jump. Right? He needs some elevated place where he can go and then jump from that position. Right? So then they find what is there nearby. So there is a mountain called Mahendragiri. It's a very, very huge mountain. That mountain has a lot of huge trees, and thousands of years old trees, flowers, fruits, so many herbs, so many lot of animals, snakes, everything is there on that mountain. So Hanuman, just with one leap, he goes onto the top of the Mahendragiri, and then he takes his position. Like how people run. How they want, when they want to jump. They bend, they take a position, and then he's ready to just jump, take a leap from that Mahendragiri mountain. Then he presses his foot against the mountain, just by touch, a gentle touch of his foot. Right? All the animals, there are so many caves, they are getting crushed. All the animals are coming out of the caves. They were making huge noises, loud noises. Entire area is echoed with so many noises of the animals. And all the Vanaras below at the base of the mountain, they are all cheering up Hanuman, Hanuman, Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. They are all cheering up. And Hanuman, just with a gentle push of the mountain, right? Because of the push, there are so many thousands of millions of trees with flowers. All the flowers, all the trees, they got shaken, and all the flowers are on the body of Hanuman. So Hanuman is completely covered with flowers because of all these things. Right? Then with a push, then he takes a leap into the ocean. So now he starts flying into the ocean. So Valmiki Ramayana very beautifully explains how Hanuman looks in the sky. When you look at Hanuman, how does he look? Very beautifully mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. Actually, in fact, this is the first time I started reading entire Sundarakanda, original Ramayana actually. Because I was so interested in this. I was reading every verse of Sundarakanda just to see what Valmiki described. And there is a description, several verses, how Lord Hanuman was appearing in the sky. What was his position, how he was, what is his position, how is the tile, how is his style looking. All these things are mentioned there, right? So now Hanuman is flying, and it's about 12:30. Is it okay if I take 10 more minutes, bro? Is it okay if I take? I can keep the suspense for next week also, or next session. But okay, so let's do little more, and then I'll stop. So now Hanuman is flying on the ocean to reach Lanka, and it is described that Hanuman's mood in doing this service, it's not that Hanuman is thinking that I have so much power, I can do this. Hanuman's mood always is that I am a servant of the Lord. This power, whatever I am doing, I am able to do, it is because of my master, Lord Ram's mercy and blessings. Without his blessings, I cannot do anything. And Hanuman compares himself with an arrow. When somebody shoots an arrow, right? When somebody shoots an arrow, arrow straight goes and hits the target. Who gets the credit? Arrow gets the credit or the shooter gets the credit? So Hanuman was comparing, Hanuman himself is comparing, I am like that arrow. This entire credit should go to Lord Ram. I don't have anything to do with this. It is my master's power given to me. That's why I'm able to do this service. With that mood, Hanuman was flying in the sky. So at the time, what happens? So the ocean god is looking at the situation. Okay, now Hanuman is flying. How can I help this Hanuman? Because all these sagaras, the oceans, the Raghu dynasty, one of the kings in Raghu dynasty, his name was Sagara. Sagara was the one, is the cause of all these oceans. So now the oceans are thinking, Hanuman is going for the purpose of helping Lord Ram. Lord Ram is coming in Raghu dynasty, this particular Sagara dynasty. So Sagara was the one for our existence, reason for our existence. We should, it's mentioned Sagara in some places. Yeah. Some places it said Sagara, some places it's called Sagara also. Yeah. So of course, Sagara, oceans are called Sagara. That's what in Sanskrit we say. But in Valmiki Ramayana and some speakers, they are calling it Sagara. So Sagara. And then this ocean, the thinking that Sagara is the cause for our existence, and Hanuman is going for the purpose of finding Sita. So I should help. I should offer some hospitality, some help to Hanuman. What can I do? I am just that to salty water. Hanuman cannot drink salty water. I cannot offer myself to him. Then the ocean thinks that there is a great mountain on the bed of this ocean. Name is Mainaka mountain. He immediately instructs Mainaka. Oh Mainaka, you are residing in my ocean for so long. Now this is an opportunity for us to show our gratitude to this dynasty, Sagara dynasty. To show our gratitude, we should help Hanuman, who is going on this mission. So immediately you raise up and offer some hospitality so that Hanuman can get some rest before he goes to Lanka. Because it's 800 miles, it's 100 yojanas, so he needs some rest. So let us offer something. Then Mainaka thinks, okay, Mainaka also thinks that yes, Mainaka is thinking in different direction. Mainaka is thinking that, yes, of course, even I need to show gratitude to Hanuman because Hanuman is Vayuputra. He is the son of wind god. So how wind god helped this Mainaka? At once upon a time, all these mountains used to have wings. Just imagine, all the mountains fly around on the sky, and they used to cause a lot of obstacles and obstructions for the devatas in the sky. Then Indra, one fine day, decided, you guys are causing so much disturbance in the sky, there's a lot of traffic in the sky. So then he chops off all the wings of all the mountains so that they will be stationary. But this particular mountain, Mainaka, he was very scared and he was just, stable. He was not flying anywhere out of fear. Because if he flies, they know that Indra is going to chop them. Then, understanding his fear, Vayudeva says that, okay, I will help you. I will slowly, somehow or other, I will take you, I will put you in a very safe place in this ocean. So that's how Vayudeva helps Mainaka mountain in the ocean. And during the time, there is a huge hole in the mountain, in the ocean that leads to Patala Loka. All the demons, demoniac persons live there. So this Mainaka is also covering that hole so that the demons cannot come up. So now Indra looks at the situation. He says that this is good. So now you are covering that hole, so the demons cannot come out. So it's good for everybody. As long as you are in the ocean, you are safe. Nothing happens. So now Mainaka is thinking that yes, Hanuman is Vayuputra. I should show my gratitude to Vayu. So I should help him. Then the Mainaka comes up, raises up, and then Mainaka profusely praises Lord Hanuman and says, oh Hanuman, you are going somewhere on the mission. Please come and take some rest. I have so many fruits, so many plants, so many moolas, the moolies, so all these things are there, herbs are there, vegetables are there, roots are there. Have some, just take some rest and take and go. Then what Hanuman says is that he immediately, obviously, he respects Mainaka's mood. And then he says that I am going on a mission of my master. At this time, I do not want to take any rest. Until I finish my responsibility, I do not want to take any rest. So this is one of the obstacles in our devotional service to the Lord. What is the first obstacle? It's called complacency. So that means, okay, we will do it later. When the time comes, we'll do. Right? The time comes, we'll do. That's one attitude people have. Another obstacle, another way to think about this is that, is Menaka a dangerous person here, or is a well-wisher? He's a well-wisher, right? He's not a demoniac person. Why is he offering this? Out of love for Hanuman. Hanuman, please take some rest, right? But that can become an obstacle. And this is nothing but our relatives and family friends. They can become obstacle, right? When you're taking devotional service, you are only 35-year-old, you are only 40-year-old, when you become 65-year-old, you can take devotional service. Why do you want to engage in bhakti right now, right? The person is 65-year-old, right? And he tells this, when you retire at the age of 65, you can take bhakti, but he's not doing bhakti. He's already 65. But he tells this person, don't do it right now, right? So, do they have any ill intention? Our parents or the grandparents, they don't have any ill intention. They are telling out of love, right? It's completely out of love, but they're telling, don't do it right now. You have a responsibility, you have a beautiful job.